I'm Carolyn Boulay, and I'm here tonight to talk to you about cracks in the walls that surround us. When I was writing my speech, my mother asked me if I meant cracks in our internal walls, and I told her that that's not what I meant. I'm talking about the walls of our society that are founded on creativity and innovation. Tonight I'll be discussing the 5th stage of change, revising our thoughts on flaws and failure. In a show of hands, how many of you have flaws? Every hand should be up. Now, how many of you have been told to do something to hide that flaw or to take some action to fix your flaw? Again, every hand should be up. No one is without flaws. And of course, if we have flaws, we've been told to do something to perfect that imperfection. For example, many children in America today are diagnosed with ADHD, or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. In fact, about 11% of all school-age children are currently living with a diagnosis of this disorder, according to new data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Around 6.4 million children are living with ADHD or ADD, and about 2/3 of these children are medicated with drugs like Ritalin or Adderall. Compared with statistics from the 1950s and 1960s, when ADHD and ADD were culturally and clinically insignificant, these numbers are mind-blowing. We do the same things with cracks in the wall. If you see a crack in the wall, it will annoy you until it's fixed. We always try to fix the cracks first. We don't look for the deeper problems that may have caused the crack. Cracks in the walls arise from the settling of the foundation. When our foundation of creativity and innovation stagnates, dissent arises, and we try to quickly cover up whatever is causing the dissent. This is a huge problem in our society. We're always looking to judge and to fix other people instead of fixing the deep-seated problems of our society, fixing ourselves to better the crack in the wall, or even just accepting somebody for who they are. We are always judging people based off of their flaws and causing them to look at their flaws as failures in a negative sense, when in fact, flaws and failures make us who we are. Without failure, creativity and innovation wouldn't exist. Many of our greatest modern-day inventions come from failures. For example, Post-it notes were invented because a man named Spencer Silver failed at creating the world's strongest glue. Even chocolate chip cookies were an accidental invention, and where would our world be without chocolate chip cookies? Other accidental inventions include Slinkies, fireworks, silly putty, and even penicillin. Now, how many of you plan to go to college after high school, or have graduated from some sort of college or trade school? Most people in our day and age do plan to go to college after high school, or have graduated from college. And now, being completely honest, how many of you look down your nose a little bit at the people who don't plan to go to college after high school? A lot of you probably do, even if you don't want to raise your hand. This is because we view these people as the cracks in the walls. They're the outliers who stray from the norm. When I'm in the car with my mom, she'll often turn on her Christian radio station, and I'll usually hear something about trying to get every kid into college so that they're going to have a good future. However, not every kid needs to go to college to be guaranteed a successful future. Take Steve Jobs, for example, one of the many people who breaks the societal view of only bad things coming from a crack in the wall. I consider him to be one of the most successful people ever, yet he never received a college degree. After high school, he started attending Reed College in Portland, Oregon, before realizing 6 months later that he was getting nothing out of it. He had no idea what he wanted to do with his future and didn't see how paying exorbitant amounts of money to take classes he had no interest in was going to help him figure it out. He dropped out of school, but stayed on campus for another 18 months as a drop-in student, attending any class that looked interesting to him. One of the classes that stuck with him the most was a calligraphy class, something today that we consider to be of very little relevance because why handwrite something when you can just type it up and change the font? What you may not realize is that Steve Jobs based many of the Macintosh fonts off of ideas that he learned in this calligraphy class. This is just one example of something that we consider to be very eccentric and of little importance in our lives that probably changed your life without you even realizing it. A year after the first Macintosh computer was released, Steve Jobs was fired, and he thought that his dreams had been crushed before realizing that he still loved what he did and wanted to continue. In the next few years, he created a little company, which you may or may not have heard of, called Pixar. He also created a company called Next, which was later bought by Apple, and he returned to Apple. Next had created wonderful technology that we know today as iPods and iPhones. Without failure and cracks in the walls, you may not have an iPod or iPhone sitting in your hand or pocket right now. Without cracks in the walls, we will not have creativity or innovation in any of our technology. Next time someone says something that you don't necessarily agree with, don't judge them for it. Stop, consider their point, and maybe even question yourself a little bit. The outliers are not always the ones who are wrong, and we shouldn't view them that way. I'll leave you with one final quote from Jobs. Believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path. And that will make all the difference. Thank you.